So I'm going to speak to a little bit about a particular view I get of Nick for a long time now. But I'll start with the fact that we met in January 2005.
At 57 years old, Keith Urban is finally opening up about his marriage to Nicole Kidman. Fans have watched their relationship from afar for years, admiring their love. But with the recent news of divorce, people have now begun to wonder about the challenges behind the scenes. Now, Keith is sharing his personal thoughts, experiences, and the truth about life with one of Hollywood's biggest stars. What he revealed gives an intimate look at their marriage and has left fans both surprised and moved. Today, we're diving into what Keith Urban had to say about his life with Nicole Kidman.
Simply because Nick had such a truly otherworldly aura about her, and I felt a bit like I was meeting a real-life princess. I know a lot of you can relate to that. And despite all of that, I did manage to get her phone number on a tiny piece of paper, and I carried that number in my pocket for well over a week. I pull it out and look at it, put it back in my pocket. I was scared. I was nervous to call her. And as prone as I might have been at the time to all sorts of delusional thinking, even I couldn't stretch that to think that this extraordinary woman would ever see anything in a guy like me.
Let's rewind to January 2005. Hollywood was buzzing for the annual G-Day USA Gala in Los Angeles, basically a big celebration of Australians making their mark in the entertainment industry. It's one of those nights where actors, musicians, and industry folks all come together, swap stories, and toast to the success of their fellow Aussies. Among the stars that night is Nicole Kidman, who's pretty much Hollywood royalty by this point. She's 37, has an Oscar under her belt for The Hours, and is navigating life as a single mom to her two adopted kids, Isabella and Connor, after splitting from Tom Cruise years earlier. Then there's Keith Urban, also 37, born in New Zealand but raised in Australia, and steadily building his career in Nashville. He's got that laid-back charm, a killer voice, and a reputation for being one of country music's most talented guitar players. At the gala, the two end up meeting thanks to fellow Aussie actor Geoffrey Rush, who plays matchmaker for the night. Nicole would later say she felt an instant spark, while Keith, believe it or not, didn't make a move right away. He took her number, sure, but then didn't call her for 4 months. In a 2018 interview, Keith opened up about that time in his life. He said he wasn't in the best place personally, and honestly didn't think someone like Nicole would ever be interested in him. "I wasn't in a very healthy place in my life," he admitted. "I'd never have thought she'd see anything in a guy like me. But eventually, I plucked up the courage to call, and she answered. We just talked and talked. It was effortless. But eventually, he picked up the phone. Nicole answered. And that first conversation, according to both of them, it just clicked." Fast forward to June 2005. Nicole Kidman is in New York City, freshly 38 and in the middle of her post-Hollywood renaissance. She's balancing a full schedule, film commitments, family visits, and a renewed sense of independence after a few quiet years out of the spotlight. Then, just as dawn breaks, there's a knock at her apartment door. Standing there at 5 a.m., bouquet in hand, is Keith Urban, holding her favorite flower, gardenias. It's a small gesture, but for Nicole, it said everything. In that moment, she later admitted she knew. "That was it," she told Vanity Fair. "I thought, this is the man I was meant to meet." Within months, the connection between them deepened. Keith was splitting his time between Nashville and Los Angeles, and Nicole was filming The Interpreter with Sean Penn, one of her biggest roles since Moulin Rouge. Despite the chaos of their careers, they carved out moments for long-distance phone calls and weekends spent tucked away from the spotlight. By early 2006, they were ready to share their love with the world, stepping onto the Grammy Awards red carpet arm in arm, her in classic black Balenciaga, him in his signature rockstar leather. It wasn't just another celebrity pairing. It felt genuine, like two people who had finally found their calm in each other. That same year, they sealed the deal. On June 25, 2006, Nicole and Keith exchanged vows in a candlelit ceremony at St. Patrick's Estate in Sydney, surrounded by close friends, family, and a sea of well-wishers waiting outside the gates. The event was private yet deeply emotional. Keith even performed for his bride, a moment Nicole has since described as one of the most moving experiences of her life. Their love soon expanded beyond the two of them. In July 2008, they welcomed their first daughter, Sunday Rose, in Nashville, a name chosen to symbolize new beginnings and tranquility. And 2 years later, on December 28, 2010, came another blessing. Faith Margaret, born via gestational surrogate in the same city. In a heartfelt statement they shared, "Our family is truly blessed, and just so thankful to have been given the gift of baby Faith Margaret." Life in Tennessee offered exactly what they'd both been craving, a slower pace, far from the Hollywood frenzy. Their days became about pancake breakfasts, bike rides through the countryside, and nights spent playing guitar or reading bedtime stories. They worked hard to give their daughters a normal upbringing, often keeping them out of the public eye. For Keith, family became his grounding force. In a 2012 Australian Women's Weekly interview, he reflected, "She's my spiritual other half. We ask ourselves sometimes if we'd like to have met in our 20s so we could have had more time together, but then again, maybe we wouldn't have been ready. The experiences we've had, the heartbreak, the mistakes, those things helped us build something real, something that lasts." Through the highs and lows of fame, their bond only grew stronger. Keith often says Nicole saved his life, both figuratively and literally, helping him through addiction recovery early in their marriage. And she, in turn, credits him with teaching her to slow down, to breathe again. The 2010s came with lots of wins, whispers, and real-world grounding. Professionally, both Keith and Nicole were unstoppable, but privately, they were fiercely committed to protecting their little bubble of normalcy amid the madness of fame. Keith kicked off the decade riding a creative high. His albums Fuse and Ripcord weren't just commercial hits, they marked his evolution as a boundary-breaking country artist blending pop, rock, and even a touch of EDM. Fuse debuted at number 1 on both the US and Australian charts, featuring hits like Little Bit of Everything and We Were Us, while Ripcord brought bangers like Wasted Time and Blue Ain't Your Color, earning him another CMA Entertainer of the Year title. It was clear, he wasn't just surviving the Nashville scene, he was reinventing it. Meanwhile, Nicole was in her own golden age. She shifted seamlessly from Hollywood's leading lady to prestige TV powerhouse, redefining what stardom looked like after 40. Her haunting turn as Celeste Wright in HBO's Big Little Lies from 2017 to 2019 won her both an Emmy and a Golden Globe, while The Undoing in 2020 proved she could still command the screen like few others, complex, magnetic, utterly raw. Yet, through all the fame, they remained Team Urban. In 2016, the couple gave fans an unforgettable peek into their partnership with The Fighter, Keith's upbeat duet featuring Carrie Underwood, inspired by Nicole herself. It was a love letter in melody form, his way of honoring her resilience and loyalty through his rough patches. Their chemistry was so real that Keith later posted a car sing-along video of the two of them jamming to the track, Nicole enthusiastically taking Carrie's parts and laughing between verses. Internet gold. But fame can't shield anyone from heartbreak. In September 2014, tragedy struck when Nicole's father, Dr. Anthony Kidman, passed away suddenly in Singapore after a fall. The loss shook her deeply. Her dad had been one of her greatest champions. Keith immediately flew to her side, canceling concerts and quietly supporting her through her grief. At the funeral in Sydney, he honored his late father-in-law with a moving rendition of Amazing Grace, a moment that brought everyone in attendance to tears. Then came 2020, a year that tested even the strongest of families. As the Australian bushfires devastated their homeland, Keith and Nicole publicly donated $500,000 to relief efforts and urged others to do the same. Just weeks later, the world shut down with COVID-19, and the couple retreated to their Nashville home, where they spent the lockdown with their daughters. Keith streamed performances from their basement studio, with Nicole often popping in, sometimes barefoot, sometimes dancing off camera, always supportive. Fans loved seeing them so candid and human.
We got married in June 2006, and barely 4 months into our marriage, my addictions that I'd done really nothing about blew our marriage to smithereens, and I went into the Betty Ford Center for 3 months. 4 months into a marriage, I'm in rehab for 3 months with no idea what was going to happen to us. And if you want to see what love in action really looks like, give that a whirl. Nick pushed through every negative voice, I'm sure even some of her own, and she chose love. And here we are tonight, 18 years later.
Do you have to someone whose partner or spouse needs help with that?
To get help.
Yeah.
To put your hand up, to reach out, and there is absolutely help out there.
Behind the scenes, Keith was as open as ever about his ongoing journey with sobriety and self-discovery. At a 2018 SXSW panel, he admitted, "I'm just alcoholically wired. I was living a very small life. I was lucky I had a very loving wife. Getting sober has freed me up creatively." He also shared the mantra that defines their marriage: nothing to hide and everything to protect. It's simple, but it's them. Honest, grounded, and fiercely loyal. He didn't shy away from reflecting on the years before Nicole either. "I would write these songs about love," he said, "but I realized I was writing from this place of the kind of person I wished I could be. The only thing that's changed is that I've become the person I was trying to be." It's one of his most revealing statements, a glimpse into how much Nicole's presence reshaped his life. By 2019, he'd immortalized her yet again in Song with Gemini, a cheeky, affectionate track that playfully describes her as a maniac in the bed, but a brainiac in the head. Nicole, ever the sport, laughed it off in interviews. "I don't censor his art. If I can be a muse for it, that's lovely." That's their dynamic in a nutshell: mutual respect, humor, and a willingness to be real. 2020 Christmas rolled around, and while the world was still reeling from lockdowns and uncertainty, Keith and Nicole reminded everyone what light looks like. He hopped on Instagram with a playful serenade, his guitar, her laughter, their energy pure magic. "We can be naughty or nice," Keith teased mid-song. Without missing a beat, Nicole chimed in, grinning, "I want naughty, a little bit of nice, but a lot of naughty." Fans melted. It was flirty, funny, and perfectly them, ending with cozy holiday wishes from the Urban Kidman clan, twinkle lights glowing in the background of their Nashville home. By 2021, the couple had mastered the art of blending family life and fame. When the Golden Globes went virtual, their daughters, Sunday and Faith, made a rare and adorable cameo during Nicole's The Undoing nomination appearance. The moment went viral. Viewers couldn't get enough of the family's relaxed, at-home glamour. Later that year, Nicole opened up to Vanity Fair about Keith's attitude toward her more intimate film scenes, saying with refreshing candor, My husband is an artist, so he understands all of it. He sees the show at the very end. Translation: trust and mutual respect are the bedrock of their 18-year marriage. Red carpets kept rolling, and Keith remained Nicole's biggest cheerleader. At the 2022 Oscars, he flew straight from a Vegas residency performance to be by her side as she was nominated for Being the Ricardos, where she transformed into Lucille Ball with uncanny precision. On the red carpet, the two shared their signature affection, hand-holding, inside jokes, those quiet, knowing smiles that photographers always try to catch. Then in 2023, Keith surprised fans by debuting never-before-seen clips from their 2006 wedding as he performed Without You during a Las Vegas show. The crowd went silent as the video rolled, Nicole in her gown, Keith looking starstruck. Later, he told people, "I wanted to do it in a very organic way. It wasn't about making a big moment, it just felt like the right time. It was intimate, heartfelt, and pure urban." Their fashion chemistry didn't miss a beat either. The 2023 and 2024 Met Galas saw the couple absolutely own the carpet, perfectly coordinated, effortlessly elegant. In April 2024, Nicole gushed to people, "I'm so lucky that I have Keith, who's just my love, my deep, deep love." And a month later, at the 2024 Met Gala, she admitted she still gets butterflies before big events. "I get so nervous, but having my man with me, he calms me down." The images of them laughing on the steps that night said it all. Even their home life remained playfully romantic. In December 2024, Nicole made headlines after sharing her unconventional marriage advice in an interview: double-headed showers, for connection, spontaneous date nights, and keeping the spark alive through the little surprises. Fans loved her honesty. It wasn't Hollywood gloss, just real love between two people who still flirt after nearly 2 decades together. By January 2025, they were back in full red carpet glory mode at the Golden Globes, stealing attention with their affectionate PDA and matching sleek black ensembles. A few months later, Nicole told people once again, echoing her earlier sentiment, "My deep, deep love. That's what Keith is to me. My safe place." May 2025 brought them to the ACM Awards, arm in arm and glowing, Keith performing while Nicole watched from the crowd with that unmistakable look of pride she's worn for years. Then came June, soccer season. The couple popped up at a FIFA match, cheering, laughing, and snapping selfies like newlyweds. And of course, their 19th wedding anniversary that month was the cherry on top. Nicole's Instagram post said it all: a sun-drenched throwback photo, Keith's arm around her, captioned simply, "19 years. My love, my home." Nearly 2 decades later, they're still writing their love story. One-car sing-along, award show, and cheeky Christmas serenade at a time. Through fame, loss, and global chaos, Keith and Nicole have proven that real romance doesn't fade, it just deepens, like a song that keeps getting better with every verse. It felt like a love story with a happy ending, but behind the scenes, things were unraveling. Back in mid-2025, Keith Urban started acting a bit off, and fans definitely noticed. It all kicked off when he straight up cut short a radio interview after the host prodded him about Nicole Kidman's steamy on-screen moments with Zac Efron in their latest rom-com flick, A Family Affair. Keith, usually chill and charming, got all flustered and bailed on the convo, leaving everyone scratching their heads. Then came the public appearances, red carpets, award shows, you name it, where he looked like he'd rather be anywhere else. His usual megawatt smile was replaced with this awkward, tight-lipped vibe that had tabloids buzzing. The real eyebrow raiser, though? During a summer concert on his High tour, Keith switched up the lyrics to "The Fighter," a song he's always said was inspired by his love for Nicole. Out of nowhere, he swapped in the name of his 25-year-old guitarist, Maggie Baugh, instead of Nicole's. Fans went wild, and not in a good way. Social media lit up with speculation, with some calling it a playful shout-out to his bandmate, while others saw it as a shady move. Maggie, a rising country star who'd been touring with Keith for a couple of years, didn't comment, but the rumor mill was already in overdrive. By September 30th, 2025, the other shoe dropped. Nicole filed for divorce in Los Angeles Superior Court. The official reason? Irreconcilable differences, which is Hollywood speak for, "we're done." Nicole, ever the protective mom, requested primary custody of their two daughters, Sunday Rose, 17, and Faith Margaret, 14. Keith didn't fight it, agreeing to joint legal custody while letting Nicole take the lead on parenting. No spousal support was requested. Both are mega stars with their own fortunes. Nicole's net worth is reportedly around $250 million, while Keith sits at about $75 million. The split was surprisingly drama-free, at least on paper, but you could feel the heartbreak from a mile away. In a rare public statement, Keith kept things real but classy, steering clear of any mudslinging. He posted on his socials, "We had 19 years of love, laughter, and learning. I'll always be grateful for that. Nicole's an incredible woman and mother, and I wish her nothing but the best." Nicole stayed quiet, letting her legal team do the talking. Sources close to the couple hinted that the cracks had been forming for a while. Grueling schedules, long stretches apart. Nicole filming in Australia, Keith touring the US, and maybe some differences in where they saw their future heading. Insiders also mentioned Keith's lyric swap wasn't the cause, but more of a symptom of deeper issues. Still, no one's pointing fingers at Maggie Baugh or anyone else as a reason for the split. Keith's still out there rocking stages, pouring his heart into his music like always. He's got a packed tour schedule through 2026, and fans say his shows feel more emotional than ever. Nicole, meanwhile, is diving into her next big project, a thriller series for a major streaming platform, and she's reportedly focusing on her girls and keeping things steady for them. Their love story, which started back in 2005 at a G-Day USA gala and led to a fairy tale wedding in Sydney in 2006, captivated fans for nearly 2 decades. They weathered plenty of storms together. Keith struggles with addiction early in their marriage, the pressures of Hollywood, raising kids in the spotlight. But this time, the fairy tale's over. Still, those close to them say there's no bad blood, just 2 people moving on with grace. So, what do you think about this? Let us know down in the comments section. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe.